is your Seaside Band. Good morning, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. So I should probably say, buenos días a todo el mundo en la vida de Seaside. ¿Cómo están? Yes, exactly. So we have an amazing message here. Reverend Christian has an amazing message prepared for you this morning. So I am so excited to be here, and I'm so honored to welcome you in as you walk in through our doors. We have Denise Harmon, who is holding the light, holding the consciousness, really anchoring in that divine energy, that divine intelligence into this room, into this place during Reverend Christian's message. And her name is Denise Harmon. So give her a round of applause as we light her light. So you will notice that Denise is walking over to the prayer center, where we encourage you all to leave your prayer requests. We have wonderful practitioners here at Seaside that are praying on them throughout the week. And if you are having something that is something that you want to shift, something you want to grow from in your life, go ahead and place a prayer request. And if everything is wonderful and you are just grooving and everything is fly, go ahead and place your prayer request, because you can never have too much prayer. So, as you know, Seaside is a thriving community. We always have something happening. There's always something happening here at Seaside. So, go ahead and pull out your phones. Yes, we're asking you at the center to pull out your phone so that you can put in your phone the events that are happening so that you can be aware of them. So one of them is we have sound meditation starting tomorrow, Monday, May 6th, here at Seaside. I encourage you to talk to Kay Samuelson after service and talk to her and see what you may need. That is happening tomorrow, Monday, May 6th. Also, we have Lisa Nichols coming here to Seaside. So this is very exciting. How many of you have seen The Secret? All right, okay. So you've seen Lisa. So Lisa is on The Secret, and she is absolutely amazing. She has been on Oprah. She has been at the Steve Harvey show, and she made Steve Harvey laugh. And Steve Harvey is hilarious. So you know that she's funny. She's very real, very raw. And here's a clip just so you can see a little bit of Lisa.
Are you willing to disrupt any form of what you know? Are you willing? Are you willing to reinvent yourself? Are you willing? Are you willing to become someone you've never seen before? Are you willing to run, leap, and soar, even at the possibility that you might fall? Are you willing? Are you willing to do something you've never done before, say something you've never said before, do the things you don't want to do, say the things you don't want to say, so that you can be the man, the woman you've always known yourself to be? Are you willing? See, I didn't come here to give you a lot of answers. I came here to disrupt your soul with a lot of right questions. Because I wasn't supposed to be here. I was that kid that was always struggling with self-esteem. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? No one looks like me, makes it anywhere. I'm chocolate, mocha skin, full lips, round hips, and kinky hair. You just don't see me on TV. You don't see me glorified. You don't see me representing beauty. You don't see me. So the world didn't give me permission to be here. But I didn't ask for it either. So some of you are still asking for permission. And sometimes you have to stop asking for permission, and it's just time to give the world notice. So I just showed up to invite you to give the world notice.
So give the world notice. Lisa will be here on June 14th. There is a table in the family room set up for you to purchase your tickets today. We also have amazing classes happening here at Seaside all the time, so check out the education table in the family room. And we also have signups for... This is upside down. For Gourmets for God. So Gourmets for God happens every single year, and it's so amazing, and it's so much fun, and it's so powerful. It's one of those things that if you have an idea, you have an event that you want to do, you've always wanted to do it, get that inner child in you to come out and play and host an event. You can see Susan in the family room after service, and we have a little clip to give you a little teaser of what that would look like. So yes, that was Reverend Christian wearing his disco pants. And that was an event that happened last year with Reverend Christian and Callie Sorensen. So again, these are just wonderful events that you put on for yourself, for the community, and you get to invite individuals into your home and create that experience for everyone. So go ahead, sign up in the family room. Susan will be there. And with all that being said, we may now stand and greet our neighbors.
Good morning, Seaside. Please remain standing for the congregational song. Hit it, Paul. This is a brand new song. We've never done it here, but it's a song that was written by Jamie Lula. And I always love his songs. So we're gonna learn it together. It's really simple. There's just two parts, okay? Here's part number one. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we see. We are the seeds we've been sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Same thing, say it again. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we seek. We are the seeds we've been sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Next section says, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. First part, once again. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we see. We are the seeds we've been sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Second part, say I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. Come on, Bob. Give it up for Bob and our very own Seaside Band. To the bridge. Say I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. The first part. We'll break it down, break it down. Say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we see. We are the seeds we've been sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Let's say it again. Here we go. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we see. We are the seeds we've been sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest. Say, we are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest we reap. Very nice, Seaside.
Very nice, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard you had a different kind of gig yesterday.
I did.
What was that about?
I went and did my very first speaking engagement.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
in
right.
Phoenix, Arizona. You know who the what's it called?
I know, when you're speaker.
Keynote speaker.
Oh, yeah, along with you.
He was here at some point with us. Was it last year?
I don't know. Who?
Kyle Cease was the keynote speaker for
He
the whole
was.
event. So I was pretty stoked for that to be my very first one. And he
Nice.
remembered me from when he was here. He
Yeah,
remembered Seaside.
Yeah, they wouldn't forget you. No way. Well, I'm glad you came back.
I am too.
We're going to
Here
have to
it
get you
comes.
a gig here speaking sometime.
Don't tease me with a good time.
Ah,
Come on.
there you go.
I
All
would
right.
love it.
Well, good.
We're speaking that into existence, okay?
Okay, it'll happen. It'll happen. So, hey, good morning, Seaside. Woo! Woo! What a joy it is to be with you on this fabulous day. It's an exciting day. We've been working on healing within our community, within the consciousness, and we've been hearing wonderful stories. And today's another message about healing for sure. And so wherever you may be on your spiritual path, know that you are welcome here. Your presence helps create whatever it is that's about to unfold, and I'm always excited to experience that and to see what it is. But I got to tell you what I do know is we like to put spirit first always. And so a wonderful practitioner to set that vibration at a wonderful frequency is our very own Kay Samuelson. And bringing it in deep tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that sound meditation where the sanctuary, all the chairs are gone and the bowls are ringing, the sounds are gonging, and people are stretched out. So what time?
It's a delight. 6:30 it starts.
6:30, okay. It's an out-of-body experience, definitely a place to be.
So let us pause for a minute, just resonating with the crystal bowl and allowing it to just permeate your entire being. The stillness is the joy of just being in the moment. For God is my joy of my soul, and it is the light of my spirit. For the beloved spirit is the reflection of each individual in this room. For we are a mirror image of the magnificence. We intuitively know our wholeness, our oneness, our unity. There is only one. For love is permeating your consciousness in this very breath. So as we do what we love, this love essence transforms our life, allowing new ways of being, new ways of doing things and seeing things, new perceptions. For it is all spirit just creating anew, unfolding and evolving itself, and delighting in itself into and as your very being. So I know this day is a blessed opportunity to share, to enjoy, and to grow together as community, knowing that Dr. Christian's words are spoken with strength, power, and purpose, knowing it is spirit leading the way, allowing life to unfold with its own grace and ease. So just enjoy and let go.
Padmanabham Suresham Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadaram Gaganasadrasham Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Amen. Dominus illuminatio me. Amen. Dominus illuminatio me. Amen. Vishnu, 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 Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadaram Gaganasadrasham Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Amen. Alleluia.
Thank you. Thank you for setting this space and setting this energy into this room. My name is Catherine Cespedes. I am a practitioner student here at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, and I am in class 28 of 30. I know. I wasn't going for the applause, but that was nice. So I want to invite you all, if this is your very, very first time here, welcome. We have been thinking about you, and we have been planning for you way before you even knew where we were. And on either entrances, there are packages set just for you. There's a whole bunch of goodies inside. There's more information about Seaside. And there is a CD by Reverend Christian himself. These CDs I played for 2 weeks. And I haven't left Seaside since. It was very transformative for me to have it in my car for such a long time, for those 2 weeks. And it started and catapulted me into this journey. So I encourage you to pick up your packets that have been created specifically for you. If you have been here before, welcome. And I'm so honored to be here to welcome you this morning. So today I have a reading from Dr. Gail Brenner. And Reverend Christian is doing a season of healing, and that's what we've been talking about. And today we are talking about healing the past. So I read through all of my material, and I really wanted something that was coming from within, something that was calling me. And I found this from Dr. Gail Brenner titled, 10 Life-Changing Facts to Heal the Pain of the Past. Number 1, the past isn't really about the past. Number 2, memories are not the problem. Number 3, healing means letting go so the thoughts and feelings don't impact you. Number 4, the path to healing opens up once you are fed up by how the stories about the past impact you. Number 5, you get a jump start on releasing the past when you take full responsibility. Number 6, telling stories keeps the past lodged in your mind, in your heart, in your body, and your spirit. Number 7, beliefs about healing can get in the way. Number 8, relationship troubles relate to your past. Number 9, the middle path is the intelligent path. And number 10, and this is what I really wanted to read for you guys today. Finding out who you are is the ultimate freedom. If you define yourself by your past, you will be living as a fraction of what is possible for you. Say you think of yourself as wronged or abused or victimized, or you see yourself as having gotten the short end of the stick. Defining yourself by what happened doesn't help you now. It's like wearing clothes that never fit. Is it time to take them off? But not yet. Thank you.
They have a powerful practitioner in training right there, I tell you what. Good morning, Seaside. How's everybody today? Love it. Me too. Thank you. It is my honor to introduce our guest artist, and we just love when she's here. Not only is she, and I hope it's okay I say it, I said it first service, I forgot to ask beforehand, but she is 5.5 months pregnant, if you couldn't tell already, with twins. So we're so glad to catch her before she is going to be double-fisted with babies. So we're so glad she's here to join us, be here with us. I do also want to mention she's part of a really interesting, beautiful vocal group called Starlight, and Starlight Foundation. And every fall they host a choir from Africa. So this coming fall they're hosting a choir from Kenya, and they're going to be going on tour on the East Coast. So keep a lookout for them. So hopefully when they're back in the West Coast, so we can catch them. And it sounds amazing. So, but we were already given an incredible taste this morning, right? Her call to worship. Woo! I felt like I was elevating in my seat, you know? It's just beautiful. And so we're so grateful that she's here with us today. Please, let's give a warm Seaside welcome to Nadine Risha.
Good
Good morning, Seaside. Good morning. All right, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. This song is called Lighten Up the World.
All the love we feel spins away the fear. Walking up the ladder, emanating power. Blessed Holy Spirit, guide us on our way. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, give me all your burdens, give me all your sadness. You'll be filled with laughter only when you say that you are holy water, you are highly favored, blessing all the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, as we lighten up, go on and show that love's the way. As we lighten up, have faith in every word you say. As we lighten up, give up the stories that we made. As we lighten up, go on and light the way. We are on a wheel, spinning through the cosmos. All the love we feel spins away the fear. For we are holy water, we are highly favored, blessing all the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains. For we are courage and freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world.
Thank you.
That is Nadine Risha +2. My goodness, that is just beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. How fun to have you here. Oh, wow. Welcome back. Just back from Egypt, I understand, right? And Kenya. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, my goodness. What a start. I'm sure they're going to come out singing, too. That first call to worship, that chant, I envisioned myself just in the pyramids, just hearing that reverberation going through there. I was elevated, as you said, or just lifted to a higher place. Thank you. That was magical for sure. Nadine Risha, wonderful. So this morning's message is healing the past, as we heard. And this whole month, this whole year, we've been focused on healing. And what is essential is that we are able to really work on letting go of the past so we can be present. But what happens is sometimes the past is just handed to us and we continue to carry it forward. And there's a story that goes at the beginning of civilization, we spoke only one language. And in the town or the civilization of Uruk, which is now in what's known as Iran, there was just this one language, and the people were just a clan and a tribe, and together and connected and communicated, and all seemed well. And together they had this united vision of building a real tall landmark, a tower that went as high as possible, so that no matter where anybody went, if they got lost, all they would have to do is turn around and they would see this huge towering expression and they would be able to find their way home. And so the people began this project of building this real tall expression, and it took a lot longer than they thought. So they were in the third generation of building this particular tower. And by the third generation, those grandkids really were not into it. It was grandma and grandpa's vision, and to them it was only a chore that they had to do, that they were no longer in it. And it is said it had gotten so tall that, it took a year to carry a brick from the bottom to the top. And it was getting up there, yeah. And they had gotten, one day they were carrying a brick up and somebody fell. And they mourned the loss of the brick more than they mourned the person. And it was at that point there was a problem. When all of a sudden the project or the brick or whatever it was you were up to became more important than the person, there is something that has gone astray. And those grandkids who were doing the task that they didn't want to do decided they would climb the tower and loot heaven. And after they looted heaven, you know the story of the Tower of Babel, all of a sudden God was not pleased, and he confused and confundeled and basically took away their common tongue where they could no longer communicate with each other. And once the communication was lost, the town and the tribe split up and they ran off to different parts of the world and began their own civilizations because they could no longer commune and connect. And when we, in our life, and really the medicine of this story is that when that brick becomes more valuable than the vision, something needs to be adjusted, something needs to be forgiven, or something needs to give, or there's something that has been brought forward that is no longer serving. There's something that has become more valuable than that soul and that spirit, and communion and compassion and caring and connection is the key. And when that is gone, it is time to slow down and say, hey, what's going on here? What do I need to see? Because something needs to shift, something needs to move. And in this thing called life, things happen. I mean, have you ever gone just full out for something and it didn't turn out the way you had expected? Few of you, me too. And anyway, whether it is going for a dream or a vision that is so grand and you put it all into it and it didn't work out, or you went for a marriage, you put all into it and it didn't work out. You put your all into a project and something didn't happen, and all of a sudden you were left in a place that didn't look like where you were going. All of a sudden you were in this and you're holding on, you're trying to make things happen, and it's sometimes time to realize I need to give, I need to forgive, and realize that right here isn't where the healing's going to happen, that I need to step into the next chapter. I need to step away from what was and realize what was or what is there is no longer where the healing is going to take place, but there's something new that wants to emerge. That there had been a vision to build a tower. There was a vision to build your dream that took you or took a generation from where you were to where you want to be. And now there is something that transpired that says, you know what, there needs to be a shift. Something needs to take place that is different, because it is no longer relevant to be doing things the way you have been doing them. There are some people that still write their sermons by hand as opposed to on the computer. Hey. And they look at you, what's that about? But what I realize is sometimes the pain, or Mark Nepo, wonderful poet, writer, he said that sometimes the pain or the suffering is what chips the seals off the eyes. It chips the seals, it chips the covering, it chips us from not being able to see. When there's pain and there's a challenge that is going on, when all of a sudden the compassion has gone and the brick or the project is more important than the individual or the heart and the soul, there's something we need to pay attention to. Because when you don't, then something festers. You can call it bitterness. You can call it resentment. But all of a sudden, as that something is working in the soil underneath, there is a sense that, I gave it my all, it didn't work out. Or you got a doctor's report and it didn't come back like you wanted. And God, I prayed, I believed, and it didn't work out. All of a sudden you feel that there was a betrayal, and there is something inside. It's natural to feel the pain and the bitterness. But what is important is you don't allow that seed to grow into a root. Because if it begins to grow and it begins to fester, it's under the surface and you don't see it until there's these little sprouts that come up, until these little issues come up. When all of a sudden something comes up and you realize that this is bitter, and the bitter fruit comes from a bitter root that grows underneath the surface, which is why in Hebrews it said, uproot the bitter root before it creates the contamination. Before there's a problem, before there is an issue, before it can begin to contaminate your life. Because I'll tell you, there's people that hold on to this bitterness as if, oh man, I've got a right to have my life ruined. It's like, if they didn't hurt you enough, you got to hold on to make your life even worse. Where does that come from? You know, the saying is like drinking the poison and hoping the other person dies. You know, it is like holding on to that resentment. I remember this young guy who was happy-go-lucky in his teenage years, stepped into after life, after college, excited about his passion and dharma. Things didn't work out with work, and I met him about, I don't know, it wasn't 10 years later, but sometime later. He was no longer a joyous person. He was no longer a vibrant expression. He no longer lived with a sense of laughter. Lived with a heaviness because there was something that didn't turn out right. And rather than moving into the next chapter, he tried to figure out, I'm going to make it work right here. Sometimes we got to realize this here spot is really a there spot into the past, and we got to let it go. Got to surrender. If you realize you're not laughing like you used to, that you're not having as much fun as you used to, that you are not dreaming as big as you once did, that you find yourself exhausted, just possibly there is a root under the soil that is growing that needs to be uprooted, that is contaminating everything else that's going on in your life. There's a story of a small village in Africa. And they had a stream that ran through it. That was its life source and its water. And the people started getting sick. They started getting nauseous and just toxicity or something was going on. After a few weeks, a couple of people actually died from this river. And so, the main city that oversaw this, they sent out a representative or two to check this stream as to what is going on. And so they tested the water, and they found out the water was contaminated. That was impacting or poisoning the villagers in this small village. And so the two representatives went upstream a ways to look to see what's going on, what's here. They didn't see anything. They spent a couple days heading upstream. They got to the beginning of the stream, the head of the stream, where it was fed by an underwater spring, I guess, and they looked around, and there was nothing that was contaminating the river. And so they sent a diver into this stream or this river. And as they dove down, they went to the source of the spring, and they discovered the pregnant, fat pig that had fallen in this water and drowned with all of its piglets and was wedged right at where the spring was feeding. And so you had this pure water coming out of the ground, going by this infected, decomposing pig that went downstream and poisoned everyone. And so they went ahead and they pulled, the pig out, and the water that came out was pure and good, and everything was wonderful. But really, the intention of the story that I'm sharing with you is you got to get rid of that dead pig that is messing up the water and the pure flow and the stream in your life. That contamination is coming from some bitter root. There is something you got to forgive what took place. Because things happen in life. They do. Stuff happens. That's what being human is about. And you can hold on to that and stop your laughter and stop your dream, or you can choose to be forgiving and let it go and surrender that and allow it to be what it is and not continue to be in that place, but also not allow it to impact you any longer. This week in the practitioner class, we were talking about the classic story everybody knows about the prodigal kid. We've told that, goes away, comes back. Dad gets all excited, right? You know the story. Dad says, hey, kill the fatted calf. My son has returned. How wonderful, how exciting. And he's back, he's born, and they have a big party. But the part we often forget about is the older brother who's out working in the field and just, doing what dad has always told him to do, never went away. And he hears this party going on, he hears the music, and he asks one of his coworkers, what's going on? They said, your brother's returned, and they're having a big party. He said, well, I'm not going. So dad goes down and talks to his older son and says, hey, your brother's returned, let's celebrate. And he says, you just killed the fattest calf that we've got to feed him, and you haven't even given me a skinny goat, and I have stayed here, done everything you've done, and slaved over. I'm not going. And so what I want you to get from the story is that the party went on anyway. The older brother didn't go, but they continued to party, to celebrate, to eat, and to dance. And so you can hold on and allow yourself to be miserable and have a real solid position. This is why I am miserable. And they're going to celebrate anyway. The party's going on in life. You can hold a position, isn't this terrible? Let me tell you everything rotten that's happening on this planet or in this world, and be all upset about it. And you know what? People are going to be celebrating the good that is going on, the blessings that are going on, the healing that is going on, the evolution and the emergence of the greater possibilities. And you can sit there and be all caught up in your conspiracy stuff as to how it's out to get you, or you can join the party and bring to that party your essence, your view, your perspective. But you got to be willing to forgive whatever has got you in that place of bitterness and anger and upset. Yeah, so the thing with this forgiveness is it doesn't condone, doesn't make it okay that, he went off, did that, or they did this, or they got betrayed, or what they did to me. I mean, there's some horrendous things that take place on this planet. I mean, like Poway, as we spoke about last week, or what's going on. It doesn't make those things all right. We don't forgive those acts. But what we choose to do is begin to recognize that the presence of God is possible right there. And that I am not going to be so wedged in this position that I am not available for a higher perspective, a greater healing to take place here and now. If there's something bad or horrendous going on, you get yourself out of there. We don't say you stay there. You don't allow yourself to be abused or continue to be in a horrendous situation. You remove yourself. You want to be present enough. You want to be of clear mind enough to get that. You've got to be willing to move on, because love is what's going to make things okay. And if you're coming from anger, bitterness, resentment, hatred, you make the list. You're not contributing to the possibility of a better party that wants to emerge here. But I'll tell you, when there is manipulation going on, it's because somebody's afraid. Right? If there's anger going on, it's because someone is afraid. If there is guilt going on, it's because someone is afraid. And, the absence of love is a breeding ground for that fear to come up. And it is that fear that creates all these behaviors that do not serve your greater harmony, your greater expression, you being the bringer of a greater possibility to a situation that may not be so good. You are the one who gets to begin to look out and see life. And it's not like, you just do it once and that's good. It's not like a one and done kind of thing. It's this forgiveness, it's this letting go, it's this opening up, is a continual, ongoing, unfolding kind of expression here. It unfolds. That's how it works, which is why it is valuable to find people of like mind who will not say, you're crazy. Because there's plenty of people who say, man, you're right to be filled with resentment. You're right to be filled with anger. That's righteous anger. It's right for you to be miserable, be drinking the poison, drinking that piglet water. It's okay. And they continue to stoke that state of being when inside of you there's something that wants to know, I can bring a new thought, a higher perspective. I can forgive. I can step out of that situation and be available to something greater. But you need to find people that support that. You need to find your God squad, if you would. And that's the beauty of this community, is there's people of like mind that support you. I mean, yes, you can have it online, and there's good things that go on online, but there's a beauty of being able to sit in the vibration that Nadine was singing today and feel the whole place resonate, to look around at your brothers and sisters and know that somebody's got your back. The Buddhists call it a sangha. A sangha, a spiritual community. It's valuable. Wayne Mueller, one of the writers of our day, said for thousands of years, people have been gathering in circles around fires, around bodies, around altars. Because you can't do it all alone. That's the beauty of a sangha, a God squad. They're the ones that say, hey, Christian, man, you need to pick your head up, man. It was nasty stuff, but you know what? You got to shake yourself off. You're still here. You're still doing this thing called life. You can be miserable the rest of it, but you got to look. You got to look up. You know, the psalmist, 121st Psalm, it says, I lift my eyes up into the hills for where I get my strength. I lift my eyes up to the hills. You know, that's where my strength comes from. That's where I'm reminded. Sometimes when you're hurting and you need to forgive, you went full out and it didn't work out. Sometimes you got some friends say, Christian, you got to remember this truth that there's something greater. You got to lift your eyes up out of that pain and that difficulty. You got to forgive. Yeah, man, you got hurt. I'm sorry. You can stay there the rest of your days and continue to give your power away, continue to give them your life. But isn't being hurt once good enough as opposed to having it stretch out for longer and longer? You know? First chapter Timothy, 2 Timothy, it said, for God did not give us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. That fear stuff doesn't come from God. It doesn't come from a higher perspective that knows what's in that next chapter. But you got to be willing to let go, forgive that previous one. This is where I'm in, and this isn't where the healing's happening. This is where the lesson that's catapulting me to the healing, to the greater yet to be, is coming from. But you know what? I've been given the power of a sound mind, which means I'm not going to give my power away to the very thing I don't want to experience. I'm not going to lay awake thinking about this at 3 a.m., wondering, wow, is it expanding this, coloring this, filling it with my life force, giving it more energy, and living in fear. That doesn't make sense if you want healing. And I won't ask you how many have laid awake at night just augmenting the very thing they don't want to experience any longer in their world. You know, we've got to be willing to take that risk, if you would, you know, to step into that new space. But it's scary. I got fear. You know, fear is it's kind of got a bad rap sometimes because per se, there's really nothing wrong with fear on its own. I get where I'm going with this. You know, we get fear, you know, it's not a terrible thing. It's called being human, right? We came into this world, I'm told that babies have basically two fears, fear of the dark and fear of falling. I don't know how they know that, but that's what I've been told. But then we kind of add to that as we go along, you know, like fear of abandonment, fear of not being fed, you know, fear of not being able to please. Then we got fear of school, and then you got fear of, you know, in relationships, and then, you know, the whole pressure of adolescence. I don't know, there's some stuff in there for sure. And you know, and then getting into college, and the fear of the work, and family, and then, you know, afraid that what's going to happen to the kids, going to hold on to this relationship, you know, and then the body that's getting aging a bit, and then the big fear of death. And all of a sudden, you know, what I realize is that's just part of doing this human thing, just as long as it doesn't impact you or slow you down. But what happens is, as a kid, hey, no problem. I fall, I get up. I try to walk, I get up. You know, that's the way that works. You know, we remember the first time you rode a bike. Man, it was kind of scary. There's a little fear going on. I could fall. How about the first time you climbed a ladder? You know, or the first time you kiss somebody, you know, there's a little fear going on. But, you know, you realize it was worth it. It was juicy. It was exciting. It was exhilarating to go there, you know. But then we had some things take place, and we didn't risk quite as much. All of a sudden, we allowed that energy to be labeled fear. You know, I got hurt. I'm not going to do this again. You know, it's like, it was exciting because fear takes you to the edge of what your comfort is, and I'm going to jump off this high dive. And you'd go for it. And it was like, wow, isn't this wonderful? I'm going to do my first public talk. And wow, I pushed through it, and it was good. But at what point, as we began to accumulate those fears, did we allow it to take away the joy, the laughter, the dreams, the possibilities? You know, I knew someone, they got hit hard by the 2009 recession. You know, lost a lot in real estate, lost a lot in stocks and bonds, and so they have not invested in real estate since then. They haven't invested in the stock market since then. And we have just gone through the most expansive 10 years and decades in the history of that kind of money-making opportunities. And they didn't lose anything in these last 10 years. but they didn't gain anything either. And the fact that life has moved forward into the computer age and you're still back there writing things by hand is kind of an indication that maybe you did slip a little bit back in the progression. I learned from playing, I shared this first service, from Monopoly. But any board game counts. You win some, you lose some. Right? You get a house, but then you buy a hotel. You lose a house, but then you get some rent from that. And it doesn't really matter a loss here and a gain there. If you take a look at where you are today, if you are further ahead than when you started the game, you're doing okay. You're winning on this. But if you're caught up about that one house that you lost on the way to your apartment, then you are allowing the fear of whatever, looking for someone to blame, an economy to blame, whatever it is that is holding you back in that place that doesn't serve you anymore. Life is moving forward. We take these hits. We go full out. We don't hit them all. But that's what being human and doing life is all about. We freeze ourselves in the flow of life when we get stuck in a chapter and don't forgive and unleash that energy to get us out of those pages into the next greater possibility that says, step here, come here, be part of this. You're the only one who gets to decide whether you're going to do that or not and the consciousness that you're going to bring to it. There was a farmer rocking on his porch, old guy. And a stranger came walking up to him and said, hey, how's your cotton doing this year? He said, I don't got no cotton. He said, why? Well, what happened? He said, I didn't plant no cotton. I'm afraid of them boll weevils. Wow, okay. Well, how's the corn doing? I got no corn. Got no corn? Yeah, I got no corn. Why don't you have no corn? Well, I'm afraid of the drought that is coming. Wow, okay. Well, how are those potatoes doing? I don't got no potatoes. I'm afraid of them tater bugs, And it's like, well, what have you planted? Well, I planted nothing. It's like all of a sudden he's living his life afraid to risk because he doesn't want to lose. And that is what begins to happen when we have been hit, when we have been in pain, or when we've been betrayed, or something didn't work out, and we haven't forgiven. We're stuck back there, afraid to risk because we don't want to lose again. You've got to be willing to risk it. You got to be willing to go for it with a sense of joy, like that young kid, who's learning to ride that bike for the first time. Faced that with that exhilaration. There's this young guy who's learning to ride a two-wheeler for the first time without training wheels. I don't know, he's 8, 9, however old, maybe 7, learning to ride a bike. And he pushed this bike to the top of the hill, and there's this old, I don't know if he's old, preacher rocking on the front porch, probably friends with that farmer. And he's watching this kid trying to learn how to ride a bike. This kid gets to the top of the hill and he situates himself on the seat. He points the handlebars downhill and he's shaking all the way down and boom, starts going faster and faster and down he goes. And it scrapes up the arms, the elbows, the mess. Kid pops up and says, I'll be damned. So he picks up the bike and he wheels it back to the top of the hill. And he gets on that bike and starts going down the hill faster and faster, starts wobbling, boom, down he goes again, rips his pants to shreds, and gets up and says, I'll be damned. And so he goes back up for a third time. The preacher's, rocking, watching. Hey, Sonny. Hey, young guy. Tell you what, why don't you, next time if you fall or however it goes, why don't you say, praise God? Use that phrase and said, praise God. So the kid goes to the top of the hill, gets on that bike, and, he points it downhill and starts to wobble, and he goes, and he gets the strength, and he makes it all the way down the hill. He jumps off the bike, and he says, praise God. And the preacher watches, and all of a sudden, this kid's arms, all the scratches start to heal up instantly. His pants miraculously somehow mend themselves and go back together, and this preacher jumps out of his chair, his rocking chair, and says, I'll be damned. No. It's the consciousness you bring to the situation that it really makes the difference within our life and of our world. And if you choose to walk this world with a sense of laughter and with a sense of joy, then you're going to realize that life is for you. Ernest Holmes told us that there's a power greater There's a power within us that is greater than any condition that you can confront. It is greater than any obstacle or obstruction. It is that indwelling presence that it lives within you that is able to express itself because it is the final fact of every situation. It is the final fact of every situation, that indwelling power. That's what's within you. And you get to decide, am I going to allow myself to be trapped by my thoughts of bitterness, of anger, of resentment, or am I going to choose to know that this life is supporting me to get out of where I have been? And all of a sudden, after 3 generations, you know what? We're on to a new dream here, guys. But let us not lose the compassion. Let us not get upset because there is a catalyst that has fired our movement and blame it on that person or that situation, say, oh, it is them, but recognize that it is the emergence of that greater expression. That's something that guides the universe and the galaxies that is moving through you. That is the wisdom that is operating, and what's going on is your spiritual practices in your life. And you get to say, okay, Spirit, where are you here? What is it that I need to know? Lisa Nichols, who's coming to Seaside, she said that you've got to trust and know that that spirit that is within you is for you and is working together to bring about your greatest good. That spirit, you've got to learn to trust that is within you and know that is working together to bring about your greater good in life. It's all over. It's shouting at us, saying, okay, you've got the option here. What are you going to do with this? What are you going to allow to emerge within your life? Because you are contributing. You are a contributor to it. We are part of the sea, the human sea of the wave and the merging and the wave and the merging. And as you choose to allow yourself to care and to stretch your hands in compassion and be patient and to listen, to help get a splinter out or hold back a toxic, nasty, razor-sharp word that could have easily have come out your mouth, to hold the wounded, to help open their wounds or to close their wounds. You are contributing just as that nurse that holds that little baby and that child, that when that child grows, holds the wounded, and the wounded then goes on to hold someone else who is lost, and that reciprocal unfoldment in life will dissipate and dissolve the toxicity of those older chapters and those stuck positions. If you choose to be conscious, to know that you have a sound mind and that you have the power and the love to make a difference in this world, and that you don't have to do it alone, that we sit in these circles and these tribes and these clans that had a vision that has taken us this far, and you know what? We don't have to storm heaven and say, hey, we got to do it my way, but rather we can become receptive and become that place of the divine download so we can be the next wave that brings the next idea to our people, to our family, to our community, to our Sangha, to our God squad, that all together we are lifting our environment to a higher place, irrespective of what is being fed to us by a few news outlets and say, isn't this horrible? There's contamination in this river. But someone jumps in there and pulls that pig out. There's someone in your life that is willing to say, you are the one who can uproot the bitter root and be that place where we can have the beautiful expression of spirit flow forth, and together we will move ever higher in our expression of letting go of those mistakes from the past, whether it's individual or societal or global, as we begin to support that which is greater yet to be that wants to come through you. God bless us as we do that together. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Nadine Orisha back to our stage. Nadine +2.
Wow. You're amazing. Wow. Such a blessing. Just experiencing you channeling like that and just giving of your heart and your essence of thank you. You all are, I say this, I think, every time I'm up here, how blessed you are to have him. To have the two of them, because it takes two. I know that. So I love you. I love this community and this family, and I feel a part of it, a part of this ministry of lighting up the world and doing this work. So thank you. And here is one of my favorite songs for all of you. see trees that are green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see trees that are green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. Give Bob and the Seaside Band your love. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I see trees that are green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, ooh, what a wonderful
Thank you.
That is Nadine Risha. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. Man, those two little boys' cells must just be resonating with music all the time. I think you say you got two backup singers on the way or something. It's moving through them. How blessed they are. So, hey, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to share our love, to share our gift, to know how we have been blessed, that we continue to support those blessings to circulate and to continue to move out. So as we continue to support Spirit's work, what happens is we find Spirit supporting its work as our very life, with those things that are relevant and real and significant. So this is an opportunity in which we pause every week to just to support the community of Seaside. And as we continue to support that, it continues to be a foundation and a light in the community for years and for generations. We're definitely into our second generation of individuals that are able to catch the dream and to carry it forward. And what I know is all the contributors continue to recognize that the source is spirit, that is consistent, that is ongoing, that no matter what may be going on, there is a higher possibility that always finds expression in our life. And so this is the time where we pause. I invite you to listen to your heart and to give from that place, from that wellspring that is not contaminated, that overflowing, abundant expression of life. And so with that, as we feel that and sense and give from there, I want to invite our ushers forward and say thank you to this wonderful crew who I understand we're getting together after the service to just celebrate together the gifts of what we create and support. So I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that this is a blessed moment where the fullness of the divine unfolds through each and every one of us, where we become that divine conduit and through which the abundance of life, the affluent flow of spirit that pours forth from that inexhaustible reservoir through the very conduit of our being, we share with an ease and a grace and appreciation, recognizing that we do not deplete, but rather we enhance that flow and circulation of life that it continues to move through us. And so we find a richness and a sense of security and a deep sense of peace, of knowing that truly our good doesn't come from an employer or any particular individual outside, but rather those are avenues through which they flow, but rather what is that energy of trust and peace within that opens the floodgates of the abundant flow of life that shows up in relevant ways of our experience. So with joy, we take that which has blessed our life and we continue to send it forth and allow that circulation to bring blessings to everyone it comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for not only understanding how this wonderful expression works, but being able to courageously practice that. So with joy, we become the divine recipients of ever-expanding good. So it is. Amen. And together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Those are your guys from Seaside. Nice job. And so as I stand before this bounty, I can feel the outpouring, the love, and the caring, and the compassion, and the joy to be able to be a participant in the wonderful flow of Spirit. So that which has been given in love is received in love, and is handled in good stewardship, and is put forth back into this world with love, carrying that vibration of blessings and grace and joy to all that comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for allowing this opportunity to be an expression of that ever wonderful movement of life itself. And so it is. Amen. All right. Hey, this is Tina. She is the president of your board of trustees here, keeping us on that perfect, wonderful track of creation. So thank you. Speaking of thank you, Nadine, just beautiful. Bless you for being here, sharing your love and your voice with us, and just know wonderful things for your two young boys that are coming into this world. So. And Rebecca, always a joy to share Sunday mornings with you. Thank you for coming in from Arizona yesterday to be back home with your family and your clan, your tribe, and we love you. And those are pretty fun kicks you got going on there. Yeah. Hey, always a joy to share the Sunday morning with Catherine, who's actually in the Holmes Institute and on your path of ministerial education. So it's a joy to be able to watch you just grow with us all. Giving us sound today, Matthew, appreciate you. Thank you for the wonderful gifts that you bring us. Marv, for sharing those visuals with the world. And for those of you that are on the camera and editing and live streaming crew in the room, we got Steve Grant and Edwin doing the switching and the live editing. And we know you guys are out there. We hear all sorts of stories week after week, and we thank you for your contributions that you mail in to support the ministry of live streaming. Your gifts make a difference. Keep your prayer requests coming. We love to do the prayers around here. And also it keeps us in touch knowing that our community is not only physical but virtual, and you're so important to us. So we love you. We know you're there. Take a look at the program, see what's going on. Like this Monday night, we heard about Kay bringing in deep, the deep sound meditation, where this room is filled with bowls and gongs and sounds, and really that vibration. If you thought Nadine lifted you out of your body and you want more, the deep sound meditation is always impactful and guaranteed to lift you beyond the normal frequencies of your brain, for sure. And Gourmets for God, you heard what's going on there. So I invite you to stop at the Gourmets for God table out there and sign up and say, hey, I'm willing to host. Count me in. I've got 4 seats or 6 seats at my table and love to have a dinner and some new friends over. It's a lot of fun for sure. And you don't have to wear those disco jeans I was wearing there from the 70s. But what we did last year is we hosted a murder mystery from the disco era of John Travolta. So that's why I'm dressed with the peace symbol and the tight hip huggers, So also, pick up your ticket for Lisa Nichols. You stop at the table out there and talk to Kay or Richard and pick up your ticket. But we've got young guys here. Anybody want to share with us what's happening? Yes. Here you go.
So what we did today, we got a magnifying glass and went outside to go look for bugs.
And do we have any?
No, but
No.
I found oranges.
Oh, one bug in your pocket?
No, I found an orange.
Oh, an orange. Very nice. Woo.
We're gonna get to keep the magnifying glass.
Nice. That is good. You want to say anything? No. Okay. All right. So, hey, let's say our affirmation with our children. We see you. We love you. And we support you in your magnificence. Woo. Yeah. And so let us pray together. I'd like to invite any of our religious science practitioners to stand and all of us to feel that upliftment right here. As we recognize that shift of energy and that life force that moves through us, I come to know that life is God. It is an intelligence, it is a wisdom, it is the first breath, it is that which breathed me into expression. It is the joy, it is the ease, it is the grace, it is the compassion of life itself. It is the very essence of being. Feel that divine touch and that power that moves right here in this moment. For the grace of God is upon each and every one of us. And it's in this kind of sensing, this frequency of being that healing happens. And it's not because I have to say anything, but rather I become available to the allness, the presence of God right here. For it's in this motion, this movement of the greater vibration of being, the greater awareness of that which I am. It is in this divine alignment that refreshes, renews, realigns my expression, that I'm able to step forth into this field of greater possibility to see as God sees, for what has been chipped away from my vision is that which is impacted, and I begin to know at a deeper level the truth of being is spirit. And it's in this kind of realization that healing happens. The body begins to move and to groove with the presence of God, that every cell, every tissue, every organ, every fiber of my being begins to resonate with that divine vibration, and anything that doesn't match that wonderful motion and movement begins to fall away. It just slips away. There's not a fight, there's not a battle. It's just anything unlike that divine frequency can no longer sustain itself in this wonderful field of the God space. And within this God space, all that support that is necessary to honor the creativity, the self-expression, that dharma, that for which we have come to be in this world, is flowing right here, right now, through each and every one of us. For truly the blessings and the abundance of God is upon this moment as our personal experience manifesting, taking form in the ways that are right and relevant. For the wealth of it all is ever available, and I know for each and every one of us that we are able to move with that sense of ease into that greater expression, into our relationships with an honesty and an integrity and a self-expression, that we're able to see one another with a clarity and a depth of realization and a harmony, and for the relationships to become more real and significant. For the blessings of God is here now. Every prayer request has been brought to us, I know, is honored. For Nadine's 2 new boys, that they are welcomed into this world and they're able to walk this life, expressing their soul purpose with an ease and a grace in a world that is beautiful and welcoming and supportive for that which they are as they enter into this world in a healthy state of being in every way, in body, mind, and soul. For each and every one of us, that we continue to come into that wonderful alignment of the healthy body, mind, and soul, and that our world demonstrates that for us. That Seaside continues to grow, it continues to thrive, it continues to expand, because it continues to put vision first, the vision of the divine that emerges new for this generation, for this time, being filled with gratitude for the shoulders upon which we stand, and knowing that there is a new vibrancy of aliveness that is ours to carry forth as we build ever higher in recognition. That presence of God is the very source of our life. So grateful to know something's going on here, that wonderful vibration that we felt with that first call to worship, as if we were in the temple, in the pyramid, and that reverberation that just lifted us to a greater sense that was truly ineffable, but yet it was real. It is that real experience of spirit that I am grateful for, that these words have been falling short to express, but yet is something we've all felt and known here this morning, the laughter, the joy, the revelations, the contemplations, looking upon the smile of the children, the songs that have stirred our soul. There's something more than words can describe, but yet together we have sat in this circle experiencing that power of life itself. And it's in this realization of that power that our individual worlds shift to that new place where we are a clearer avenue. And this I am grateful. I'm thankful that the words we've shared, they're the truth, that they're happening, that they're reflective of the symbolic expression of the deeper movement of God as our life. So I let go to this, knowing Spirit unfolds naturally, succinctly, without my doing this. So I get my bloated nothingness out of the way and allow myself to be ever available for that presence of God. And so gratitude, I am grateful to see as Spirit sees that which is next and right and real. And I let go to this. I trust this Spirit with an unshakable conviction. I know that the law returns unto us that for which has been cast, and that which has been cast is that fine divine frequency. We become that place of the divine download. So I let go and allow Spirit to have its way right here, right now as our experience. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But but now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. Seaside, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Seaside, sing it from your heart. Oh, that's right. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah. Yes, Seaside.
Before our affirmation, I just want to invite anybody who wants to stick around for the basic ideas of the science of mind. This free, 45-minute class in one of our back rooms with Dennis and Jenny Mills is available to get all your questions answered. The basic ideas of science mind. Yeah, so with that said, our affirmation is, I am free to fully express myself. Together, I am free to fully express myself. Touch your heart and say that again. I am free to fully express myself. One more time like it's true for you. I am free to fully express myself. And our song of praise.
I'm living in love, I'm living in peace, I'm living my life for what I believe, through joys and through fears. In this world I walk, God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Have a wonderful day, Seaside. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Everybody be safe out there. See you next week.